Real butter has two ingredients: cream, salt. That's it. That's the entire list. Some premium versions add live cultures, and that makes 3, but the point stands. 2 ingredients. Anything that goes further than that, anything that adds a palm oil blend, a soy lecithin emulsifier, a potassium sorbate preservative, a calcium disodium EDTA stabilizer, artificial flavors, or natural flavors that are themselves a chemical reconstruction of flavor compounds, is no longer butter in any meaningful sense. It is a processed fat product using butter's identity to sell itself. The dairy aisle in most grocery stores is more than half occupied by those products, and most of the people buying them think they're buying butter. Today we're exposing 8 brands built on that confusion and 3 that actually earn what they're calling themselves. Number 8. Imperial. Let's start with the one that doesn't even try to hide it if you look closely enough. Imperial is sold in the butter section. It looks like butter sticks. It comes wrapped like butter sticks. It is not butter. It is a vegetable oil spread containing a blend of soybean, palm, and palm kernel oils, water, whey, salt, distilled monoglycerides, soy lecithin, potassium sorbate, calcium disodium EDTA, and both natural and artificial flavors. The monoglycerides are worth pausing on. Research published by Medical News Today found that during the manufacturing process, mono and diglycerides can become contaminated with trace heavy metals including arsenic, lead, and mercury. Calcium disodium EDTA is a synthetic preservative with no place in anything that's trying to be natural. The product is 48% oil. If Imperial were required to be shelved with vegetable oil spreads instead of butter, its entire market position would evaporate. The section placement is doing the work the product can't. Number 7. Blue Bonnet. Blue Bonnet has been sold in American grocery stores since 1942. It costs under $2 for a box of sticks. The product contains a vegetable oil blend, water, whey, salt, soy, lecithin, natural and artificial flavors, and both mono and diglycerides. The artificial flavors exist because the vegetable oil base doesn't taste like butter. Someone had to engineer what butter would smell and taste like and add that back in because the actual ingredients don't produce it on their own. Here is what one food publication found during testing. A stick of Blue Bonnet left on a kitchen counter for hours held its sharp rectangular edges. No softening, no spreading. Real butter at room temperature develops a visible sheen and begins to yield. Blue Bonnet didn't move. That structural rigidity is not a property of cream and salt, it's a property of a product engineered to maintain form under conditions that real butter cannot, because the fats in it are not the same fats. Number 6. Parquet. Parquet is owned by ConAgra, which also owns Banquet, Chef Boyardee, and Duncan Hines. It's been on shelves in one form or another since 1937. The standard Parquet vegetable oil spread is 58% whipped vegetable oil and contains a list of additives including mono and diglycerides, soy lecithin, natural and artificial flavors, and potassium sorbate. Here is the specific problem with Parquet beyond its ingredients. Mono and diglycerides are produced through a manufacturing process that can generate small amounts of trans fats. Trans fats are banned in the United States. However, if the trans fat content per serving is below 0.5 grams, the FDA allows the manufacturer to list 0 on the nutrition label. Parquet lists 0 trans fats. Parquet contains mono and diglycerides derived from a process that produces trans fats. If you eat more than one serving, if you cook with it, if you use it over multiple meals, those sub 0.5 gram amounts accumulate. The 0 on the label is technically legal, it is not technically accurate. Number 5. Country Crock Original. Country Crock has been one of the most purchased butter alternatives in the United States for decades. The tub is recognizable. The name implies pastoral simplicity. The product is a blend of soybean oil, palm kernel oil, and palm oil. Soybean and palm kernel oils are not foods that carry any association with butter, dairy, or the farm imagery on the label. In 2022, Country Crock was the subject of a class action lawsuit specifically over misleading labeling. In a separate 2022 class action, Country Crock plant butter made with olive oil was sued for misrepresenting the olive oil content, with the complaint alleging that palm and canola oils made up the dominant fat, while olive oil was last in the lineup. Another class action the same year alleged that country crock-plant butter made with almond oil contained only a negligible amount of almond oil relative to the palm and canola oils that dominate the blend. Made with olive oil and made with almond oil, when the named ingredient is last on a list of 4 oils, is a marketing decision, not a sourcing commitment. 3 class actions in 1 calendar year on labeling claims for 1 brand. That's not a coincidence. Number 4. Smart Balance. Smart Balance markets itself as the health-conscious choice in the butter alternative category. The front of the packaging has stated, supports healthy cholesterol levels. The tub is green and white. The font is clinical and reassuring. The ingredient list contains a vegetable oil blend, water, whey, salt, pea protein isolate, natural and artificial flavors, potassium sorbate, lactic acid, soy lecithin, and calcium disodium EDTA. Smart Balance is one of the few butter-adjacent brands that openly acknowledges artificial flavors in its formulation, listing them explicitly rather than burying them. Pea protein isolate is included as an emulsifier to improve texture, not as a nutritional addition, but as a structural agent to make a product made primarily from industrial vegetable oils feel more like something it isn't. A company that prints supports healthy cholesterol levels on a product containing artificial flavors and multiple synthetic preservatives is making a health appeal while describing a highly processed industrial fat. Those two things are not compatible. The brand has chosen to present only one of them to the consumer. If you've been watching this and wondering how many of these are in your kitchen right now, drop a comment below and tell me. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. There is a new video every week and this channel is still early. Number 3. Land O'Lakes Spreadable. Land O'Lakes makes a perfectly serviceable real butter. Their standard salted butter, cream, salt, is fine. Then they made Land O'Lakes Spreadable, and the conversation changes. The spreadable version adds canola oil to soften the butter for immediate use out of the refrigerator, which sounds reasonable until you look at the rest of the label. It also contains mono and diglycerides, natural and artificial flavors, and soy lecithin. The addition of canola oil to a real butter product introduces a refined industrial seed oil into what would otherwise be a 2-ingredient product. The artificial flavors are present because the processing and oil addition alter the natural flavor of the cream, requiring engineered compounds to restore the butter taste. This is a brand that makes genuine butter and also makes a heavily modified version of it using the same name and similar packaging. Most consumers buying Land O'Lakes Spreadable assume they are buying Land O'Lakes butter. They are buying a different product that carries that brand identity because it benefits from the trust Land O'Lakes built by making the other one. Number 2. I can't believe it's not butter. The brand name is a joke. When the product launched in 1981, the joke was that the taste was so convincing you couldn't tell the difference from real butter. 44 years later, the joke is that the product has been in the dairy aisle so long that consumers no longer consciously register how far it is from the thing it named itself after. I can't believe it's not. Butter is made from a blend of vegetable oils, water, salt, sweet cream buttermilk, natural and artificial flavors, soy lecithin, polysorbate 60, lactic acid, beta-carotene for color, EDTA, and vitamin A palmitate. Polysorbate 60 is an industrial emulsifier also used in the manufacturing of cosmetics and personal care products. Beta-carotene is added artificially to produce the yellow color that real butter gets naturally from the beta-carotene in the grass cows eat. The spray version of this product was the subject of a federal class action lawsuit alleging that the serving size was artificially set so low that the company could legally print 0 calories on the label, even though 40 sprays, the equivalent of 1 tablespoon of butter, delivers a meaningful calorie count. The Ninth Circuit dismissed the claim in April 2023, ruling that the labeling complied with FDA regulations on spray products. Compliance with a regulation is not the same as honesty with a consumer. The brand's entire existence has been built on that distinction. Number 1. Blue Bonnet, I can't believe it's not butter, and every other product in this category shares one specific structural problem with the brand at number 1. They are all sold in the butter section, next to butter, in packaging that suggests butter, at a price that competes with butter. But the number 1 offender earns its position not just for what it contains, it earns it for being the category that started the template everyone else copied. Parquet was the first major American margarine to aggressively position itself as a butter substitute in the mainstream grocery channel, pioneering the practice of placing a non-butter product in the butter section and marketing it primarily through taste comparison to the real thing. Every brand on this list owes its shelf position and its consumer confusion to the model Parquet established. When a food category is built on the premise that a consumer shouldn't be able to tell the difference between the real thing and the substitute, the entire category has selected for deception as its primary value. The brands that followed Parquet's model didn't invent the problem, they scaled it. Before the 3 worth buying, here's the test you can run before you even pick a package off the shelf. Look at the color. Real grass-fed butter, made from the cream of cows that ate actual grass, is a deep, saturated yellow, not pale, not white. Golden yellow, the color of early autumn afternoon light. That color comes from beta-carotene in the grass the cows ate. It cannot be faked at this depth without synthetic dye, and the brands worth buying don't use synthetic dye. When you see a pale white or very faint yellow butter alternative, you are looking at a product made from industrial vegetable oils or from grain-fed dairy where the cream never had access to the compounds that produce that color naturally. One look at the package is enough. Golden yellow means grass, white means grain or oil. That's the whole test. Number 3. Organic Valley Pasture Butter. Organic Valley is a farmer-owned cooperative, which means the people who raise the cows are the owners of the company. Their pasture butter is made from organic cream and salt, 2 ingredients, sourced from cows that graze on certified organic pasture. The color reflects the diet. Organic Valley's pasture butter is distinctly yellow, noticeably deeper than most grocery store options. As I covered in the milk video, Organic Valley's co-op structure is one of the few accountability mechanisms in dairy that actually aligns the financial interest of the farmer with the quality standard on the label. When a co-op member certifies their pasture as organic and their practices as grass-fed, they are certifying conditions on their own operation, not describing a contract supplier they've never visited. Organic Valley Pasture. Butter is available at Whole Foods, Sprouts, and many conventional grocery chains. The price is higher than conventional butter. It should be. Number 2. Vital Farms pasture-raised butter. Vital Farms raises the same flag for butter that they raise for eggs. 108 square feet of outdoor pasture access per animal year-round. Their butter contains 2 ingredients, cream and sea salt, with an 85% butterfat content that sits above the USDA standard of 80%. Higher butterfat means more richness, cleaner flavor, less water, and better cooking behavior. Vital Farms is transparent about the fact that some of their farmers supplement cow diets with grain during cold months. That disclosure is voluntary and not required by law. A brand that tells you where its standards have limits rather than hiding them is making a different kind of claim than the brands on the avoid side of this list. The yellow is deep, the flavor is distinct. The ingredient list ends at 2 items. That combination, documented pasture access, honest disclosure, 2 ingredients, high butterfat, buy and say, is why Vital Farms earns its place on this list and its higher price tag. Number 1. Kerrygold Pure Irish Butter. Kerrygold is produced by the Irish Dairy Board, representing 14,000 family farms across Ireland. The cows graze on Irish pasture for the majority of the year, with their diet supplemented only during winter months when grass growth slows. The resulting butter has an 80% butterfat content, 2 ingredients, cream and salt, and a deep golden yellow color that comes directly from the carotenoids in Irish pasture grass. That color is not engineered. It is not added. It varies slightly by season because real cows eating real grass produce cream that reflects what they ate that week. Kerrygold is one of the most widely available, genuinely grass-fed butters in mainstream US retail, stocked at Walmart, Target, Trader Joe's, and most major grocery chains at a price point that is competitive with conventional butter at most locations. The fact that a grass-fed 2-ingredient Irish butter from a 14,000 farm co-op is accessible and affordable at a standard grocery store is one of the better deals available in the dairy aisle right now. There is no compelling reason to reach past it for anything on the avoid side of this list. Real butter, 2 ingredients. The 8 brands on the other side of this list are not products that failed to achieve that standard. They are products that were designed specifically to approximate that standard while using something cheaper to get there. Now you know which ones, and you know what to reach for instead. Next video, we're doing salad dressing, the category where a label that says made with olive oil has been stretched so far from what it means that it barely resembles truth anymore. I'll see you there. I'm Henry. Thank you for listening to Food Fraud.